wonderful experience to be thinking of the Earth in this incredibly human-made environment where there's nothing left of what it was like originally. I'm Rabbi Shoshana Kaminsky. I'm happy to be here today. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to read the demands that are being made here in Australia, the key one is that we call on the government to aim for carbon neutrality by the year 2030. As you'll know, the government yet hasn't even committed to neutrality by 2050, but we know that the best time to act really was 20 years ago. And now that we're 20 years too late, it's urgent that we act, and we feel that at this time when record amounts of money are being invested in restarting the economy, there can be no better way to restart the economy than to bring about a more sustainable future. And so that's at the lead of our list. We want to make sure that no one is left behind, especially those who are living in parts of Australia that rely on the fossil fuel, and that those people be brought through a just transition so that they can find a place in this renewable future. And also we are especially aware of Indigenous Australians who are so vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, and call on them to be especially recognized and cared for. So we're not very good at silence. We have a lot of words and music, but we also we have a traditional way of shouting alarm, and that is to sound the shofar, which is the ram's horn. And we sound it on our new year as a reminder to ourselves to turn inward and to wake up. And we sound it today to sound the alarm on climate change. There's 4 traditional sounds that the shofar makes. There's tekiah, which is a kind of a call to battle. There's shivarim, which means broken, which is an expression of our brokenness. There's teruah, which is a punctuated sound, and those are combined into shivarim teruah, and then there is the great tekiah. So I'll invite Larry to come forward to blow the shofar for us. It's traditional to stand, so if you're tired of sitting, you're welcome to stand, or you can stay seated if that's more comfortable. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim teruah. Tekiah gedolah. Sit back down if you'd like, and bring it back to Anna to take us through.
Thank you, Shoshana. Thank you. That was, sounds like that. Sounds that again bring us back to what's important. So thank you, Larry. So I'm Anna Markey from the Coastal City Centre in the city and the Fleurieu Peninsula. Sorry, I'll speak up a bit here. And again, I'm supposed to be speaking for my community, so I could say as Buddhists, but I would like to say as human beings, we are here because we care. And because we care, we want to be feel responsible. So I think we're going back to that. And that sacred, that use of the word sacred, that also brings about a sense of communion. So this action called sacred, equal sacred earth has been started by Greenface International. So what we're doing today is happening in 14 countries throughout the world, and in Australia, about 120 faith communities are also expressing their care through action. So, yeah. Doesn't that make us feel a lot more powerful? Yeah. So, going back to care, again, it's not just a Buddhist principle, it's the principle of all faiths. And we speak of it as doing no harm. You know, in our personal practice, we make attempts to do no harm. But that also means we're obliged to ensure that others do no harm, especially others that are representing us. So often in our practice, we're reminded by people like the Dalai Lama, like Thich Nhat Hanh, about this non-separateness, the fact that we are interconnected. And when we feel that connection, when we really genuinely feel that connection through our practice of body, speech and mind, or our heart, mind, body, when we feel that, then that connection leads to compassion, and that compassion leads to action. It has to lead to action. We can't just sit on our cushion and feel compassion. It has to lead to action. So that's why we're here. And that's why we're inspiring each other to do other things. There's little things we can do. And on these posters, just talking to each other, we can get ideas about little things that we can do. Because we're human beings, we're interconnected, and this is an ethical issue. We are witnessing harm, deliberate harm in some cases. So the question of how are we to live becomes not just personal, we know we're interconnected, it becomes global. How are we to live? How are we to affect this? And we elect our governments to represent us. We can't do it as individuals. So we elect our governments to keep us safe, to keep not just me safe, but my family, my community, my country, my world, my universe. It's all interconnected. So they're mandated to do this. If they don't do this, then it is our responsibility to bring their attention to it. And if they ignore us, it's our responsibility to take further action. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about what's happening to the world. I'm sure you all know. So I'm not going to so much give you ideas as to say action is needed, and often action that takes courage. There's someone here who, it's her first action, the very first time she has acted, put herself on the street. So it has come to that. Yesterday, brave people in Extinction Rebellion glued themselves to the road and chained themselves to each other. I know these people, they are not people who are violent or who wish to cause harm. They are doing it because they're desperate. And we're desperate. And the act of sitting here in silence together is hugely powerful. Don't underestimate it. Any small thing you can do for our planet with the benefit of the whole, the interconnection I spoke about, anything we can do is of benefit. So I want to just end with that banner that I saw someone holding up, I can't remember where it was, but it said, killing our planet is against my religion. And I would say that just harming the planet is against my beliefs. And we have to take it further than sitting on our cushion. So I want to leave you with that and hand over to Philippa, to dear Philippa, who is representing the Multi-Faith Association of South Australia and Australians' religious response to climate action. And who else are you representing, Philippa? She's just come from the cathedral, so.
I would say I'm representing somebody who is a human alive today on Mother Earth. And I think that is the ground we all stand on. And probably as Buddhists, you've seen that image of the Buddha touching the ground, touching the earth. And I think one of the scary things at the moment is having the courage to stop still and face reality. Because when we look squarely at where we're up to now, in that escalation towards climate emergency, it can be frightening.